Imagine you win the lottery tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's the dream, right?
Right. You walk right into your boss's office, hand in your resignation, and you just step out into the sunshine. I mean, you have zero obligations.
Not at all.
No alarm clocks, no deadlines, just total freedom to do whatever you want for the rest of your life. It sounds like absolute paradise, right, Nee?
Yeah.
Well, psychologically speaking, you might have just stepped into an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, total unfettered freedom is, well, it's the universal dream, but the reality of it often just kind of shatters the human mind.
Exactly.
The moment you strip away the daily grind, you are left completely alone with the crushing weight of infinite possibility.
It's terrifying. But anyway, welcome to this deep dive. Today our mission is to explore a single, highly concentrated text that basically takes a sledgehammer to our modern obsession with, breaking free from the daily grind.
It really does. It's a fascinating piece.
Yeah, we are analyzing a really thought-provoking and honestly kind of haunting poem. It's titled Man's Wheel by Sean Dempsey.
And this was published back in 2021, right?
Yeah, exactly, 2021. It was published in a book of short stories and poems. The anthology has this amazing long title, a sad collection of short stories, cheap parables, amusing anecdotes, and COVID-inspired bad poetry.
Such a great title. I love that self-awareness.
Right. But the poem itself, every single word in this text carries so much weight. And to really grasp the argument it's making about the human condition, we need to hear it in its entirety. So I am actually going to read it from start to finish.
Awesome. Yeah, listeners, really pay attention to the progression of these ideas here.
Okay, here we go. It starts like this. To toil gives man purpose. His eyes glisten with fervor at the thought of work and career, because he is distracted, because he is caged. A caged man is unencumbered. He has his walls and his routine to keep him company, to keep him happy, to keep him sane. The hamster, too, is happy.
Wow.
His wheel delights him and tests his muscles. He wants for nothing. He is at peace. Unfettered man without vocation or ability to set his hand to the plow is miserable.
Just stark, eh?
It gets darker. Unencumbered by distraction, he is doomed to seek for purpose. What he seeks, he will not find, for meaning is found only by those who do not seek for it.
Such a heavy line.
I know, right? And then it ends with this. The hamster, choosing to be a more enlightened creature, would get off his wheel and then soon die. The cage and his wheel are his salvation.
It really strips away all the romanticism we usually attach to finding our, ultimate calling.
It completely dismantles it.
Yeah. In just a few lines, Dempsey turns the whole concept of work, freedom, and sanity completely upside down.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the very first line comes out swinging. To toil gives man purpose.
Ron?
It describes a person's eyes glistening with fervor at the thought of work and career.
Right.
And at first glance, you might read that and think, oh, this is a defense of hustle culture or something.
Totally, like a LinkedIn post.
Exactly. But the poem immediately pulls the rug out from under that interpretation. Why do his eyes glisten? Dempsey writes, because he is distracted, because he is caged.
Yeah, the fervor being described there isn't actual passion for the quarterly earnings report or the spreadsheet.
No, not at all.
The enthusiasm is actually relief. It's the psychological utility of the career. The worker is thrilled to just have a distraction from the void.
Okay, but I have to push back here a little bit, or at least force us to define our terms. I mean, a cage is a prison.
Right.
People hate feeling boxed in. We complain about our commutes, we complain about our 9-to-5s constantly.
Well, universally.
Yet Dempsey writes, a caged man is unencumbered. He has his walls and his routine to keep him company. I'm really struggling to see how being stuck inside a literal cage makes a person unencumbered.
Well, that's fascinating here is the specific mechanism of cognitive load.
Cognitive load.
Yeah. We typically define unencumbered as being free of, physical restraints. But Dempsey is talking about cognitive and existential restraints. The human brain is constantly processing potential threats, running future scenarios.
Always spinning.
Always. And when you have total unstructured freedom, your brain is forced to process an infinite number of choices like, what should I do today? What is the most meaningful use of my next hour? Does any of this even matter? Exactly. And that level of decision fatigue is completely paralyzing.
So it's like operating a smartphone with 50 applications running in the background. The processor overheats and the battery just drains instantly.
That is a perfect synthesis of the mechanics at play. Yes.
So the cage, the routine of a job, It essentially forces you to close 49 of those applications so your battery, your sanity can actually last the day.
That's it, exactly. When you have a cage, the walls eliminate those paralyzing choices. The walls tell you where you cannot go.
Right.
The routine dictates what you must do between the hours of 9 and 5. By removing the terrifying freedom of infinite choice, the cage actually unencumbers your mind.
Oh, wow. I see what you mean.
You no longer have to carry the just monumental burden of justifying your own existence every single morning. The routine justifies it for you.
That's wild. So if you are listening to this on your commute right now, think about that dynamic. I mean, you might actively dislike the traffic, but that commute is the physical wall of your cage.
Right, it's structuring your reality.
It's telling your brain exactly what it needs to focus on for the next 45 minutes.
Just look at the psychological phenomenon, the Sunday scaries.
Oh, yeah. The Sunday scaries are so real.
They really are. And people assume the anxiety they feel on Sunday afternoon is dread about Monday's work. But psychologists often point out that the anxiety spikes precisely because Sunday afternoon is this unstructured void.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Right. The script of the weekend is over, the script of the work week hasn't started yet, and the mind is just left spinning in a vacuum.
Still floating there.
Yeah. And the moment Monday morning hits and the emails start flowing, that anxiety often vanishes because the walls are back up.
The walls are back up.
The text explicitly states these walls and routines are there to keep him happy, to keep him sane.
Right. But if these walls are strictly there to, keep the existential dread of the universe out, how do we actually pass the time inside them without going completely crazy?
That is the million-dollar question.
That leads us to the central anchoring metaphor of the poem. Dempsey introduces a literal pet. The hamster, too, is happy. His wheel delights him and tests his muscles. He wants for nothing. He is at peace.
The brilliance of the hamster metaphor is how it just completely removes human ego from the equation.
Yeah, we really like our ego.
We do. We desperately want to dress up our careers with, complex mission statements and fancy job titles. We want to believe our specific wheel is changing the world.
Right, like we're doing something profoundly important.
But Dempsey strips all of that away to expose the raw mechanics of toil.
It makes me think about the psychology behind inbox zero, or spending an hour getting the formatting on a PowerPoint presentation perfectly aligned.
Oh, yeah. The satisfaction of a clean inbox.
Exactly. From the perspective of the cosmos, hitting inbox zero is completely meaningless. The emails will be back tomorrow.
They always come back.
You haven't actually moved forward, just like the hamster running on a plastic wheel in a glass box. But in the immediate physical moment of doing it, it feels incredible. It provides a really tangible dopamine hit.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the wheel represents our daily vocation, the repetitive, often stationary tasks of our lives.
Okay.
The defining characteristic of a hamster wheel is that exertion produces zero forward momentum in physical space.
You're just running in place.
Exactly. But the exertion itself is the goal. The physical and mental effort required to spin the wheel focuses the mind. It demands all of your available bandwidth.
Because your attention is fully consumed by the physical act of spinning the wheel, you just don't have the bandwidth to look out through the bars of the cage and worry about the darkness outside.
Yes.
You are just thinking about the next email, the next meeting, the next load of laundry.
And that total micro-level absorption is what generates the state of peace the poem describes. He wants for nothing, he is at peace. The wheel is essentially a mechanical grounding technique.
That's a great way to put it.
The human mind is prone to time traveling, right?
Right.
Worrying about the future or regretting the past. The wheel forces you into the present tense. You literally cannot be existentially terrified if you are fully occupied with keeping the wheel spinning.
Wow. So the cage limits the choices, and the wheel burns off the excess cognitive energy. It is a complete self-sustaining survival system.
That's exactly what it is.
But Dempsey doesn't just leave us with a defense of the hamster wheel. He actively warns us about what happens if we break the system.
The warning is pretty severe.
Yeah. The text says, "Unfettered man without vocation or ability to set his hand to the plow is miserable. Unencumbered by distraction, he is doomed to seek for purpose." And the word doomed is fully capitalized in the text.
Doomed.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. Dempsey writes, "What he seeks, he will not find. For meaning is found only by those who do not seek for it." I have to step in and challenge this.
Go for it.
We are taught the exact opposite from the moment we can walk. We are told to find our passion, to chase our purpose. I mean, is the poem actually arguing that ambition and the conscious pursuit of a meaningful life are a trap?
This raises an important question about the modern meaning crisis and really how we define purpose.
Meaning crisis.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan Dempsey writes a lot about this in his books, not to be confused with Sean Dempsey, who wrote the poem, but Brendan Dempsey discusses how our society is fundamentally struggling because we lack an inherent agreed-upon meaning.
Oh, right. Like we've lost the old frameworks that used to just hand us a purpose.
Exactly, and philosophers have pondered this for a long time. You look at existentialists like Camus or Sartre, and they were constantly grappling with this existential dread. What happens when man has no predetermined purpose?
They really dug into the misery of that.
They did. And yes, Sean Dempsey's text here is basically positioning the active, unfettered search for meaning as a psychological curse. When you remove the distraction of the plow or the wheel, you force a person to stare directly at the blank canvas of their life and demand that it inherently means something.
It's like staring directly into the sun. If you try to look right at it to figure it out, it just blinds you and damages your vision.
That analogy perfectly captures Dempsey's logic. Meaning is not a physical object you can just, hunt down and capture.
Right.
The harder the unfettered man stares into the existential void, looking for a grand, overarching purpose to his life, the more painfully obvious it becomes that the universe does not provide one. That realization is what creates the misery Dempsey describes.
But what about the people who do step off the wheel? I mean, the artists, the inventors, the people who refuse to work a standard 9 to 5 because they want to build something greater. Are they doomed? Should we not strive for higher goals?
Well, under the framework of this poem, those individuals haven't actually stepped off the wheel.
They haven't.
No, they've simply constructed a different, perhaps more demanding wheel for themselves. The artist toiling over a canvas is still distracted by the physical act of creation.
Oh, I see. So it's still a wheel.
Exactly. The danger Dempsey highlights is the truly unfettered man, the one with no vocation, no plow to push, who just sits in stillness, demanding the universe explain itself.
For meaning is found only by those who do not seek for it. So the guy who is busy pushing the plow isn't philosophizing about his place in the cosmos.
No, not at all.
He's just trying to get the seeds in the ground before it rains. He's focused on the soil, the sweat, the immediate needs of his family.
And through that sheer unromantic distraction, he stumbles upon a functional, peaceful life. He finds satisfaction in tired muscles. He finds connection in providing for his dependent.
It just sort of happens naturally.
Right. He achieves meaning as an accidental byproduct of his toil. The unfettered man who refuses to push the plow because he's too busy trying to find himself starves, both physically and spiritually.
Wow. Meaning is shy. If you aggressively chase it down, it retreats. You basically have to focus on the wheel in front of you and let the meaning sneak up on you in your peripheral vision.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. The distraction is the only reliable vehicle for peace.
Which brings us to the final and arguably most startling turn in the text. Dempsey brings the metaphor back to the hamster to deliver this real knockout punch regarding our obsession with higher consciousness.
This part's so brutal.
He writes, "The hamster, choosing to be a more enlightened creature, would get off his wheel and then soon die. The cage and his wheel are his salvation."
Boom.
So, according to the text, striving to be, quote-unquote, enlightened to the reality of our situation is actually a fatal error.
It is a brutal reality check against our cultural obsession with constant self-actualization.
Yeah.
Let's examine what enlightenment actually looks like for the hamster in this scenario. True enlightenment would be the hamster stopping mid-stride and realizing, wait a minute, this wheel doesn't go anywhere.
I'm running in place.
Right. These walls are keeping me trapped. My entire reality is an artificial construct.
Having a total existential awakening, just realizing the daily grind is an illusion.
But look at the inevitable consequence of that awakening. What does the hamster do with that profound knowledge? He steps off the wheel.
Right.
He refuses to participate in the illusion anymore. He sits in the corner of his cage, fully aware of the pointlessness of his confinement. And because he has stopped moving, stopped striving, and stopped burning off his cognitive energy through physical exertion.
His mind turns in on itself.
Exactly. He loses the fundamental will to live. He soon dies.
So the enlightenment is a lethal disease. It cures him of the illusion of the wheel, but the cure is what actually kills him.
Yes, we constantly treat work as a temporary inconvenience. Like, we tell ourselves, oh, I will work this job for 10 more years so I can build up my savings, and then I can finally retire, and then I will be truly free to be enlightened.
We all do that.
Dempsey is shattering that narrative. The work isn't the stepping stone to salvation. The work itself, the repetitive distraction itself, is the savior.
The cage and his wheel are his salvation. It's such a definitive exclamation point ending to the poem.
It really is.
It elevates the mundane, repetitive grind of our daily lives from unnecessary evil to the status of a spiritual savior. It saves us from our own intellect.
Without the wheel, we just cannot survive our own cognitive capacity.
It's too much.
Our intellect is too vast and too powerful. If it's not chained to a tangible, immediate task, it will consume itself with unanswerable questions. The wheel provides a safe, contained environment for the mind to burn off that dangerous energy.
So, what does this all mean? If we step back and synthesize the core takeaways from Sean Dempsey's text, we are looking at a profound defense of routine and a stark warning about the modern desire for unchecked freedom.
Absolutely.
The poem argues that human toil is not a punishment for existing, but rather a necessary life-saving distraction from the terror of existence. The cage provides the boundaries that keep us sane, and the wheel provides the focus that keeps us peaceful.
Well said.
Meanwhile, the pure, unfettered search for existential meaning, the arrogant desire to step off the wheel and demand answers from the universe, is a doomed endeavor that leads only to misery and decline.
It really demands a rigorous personal inventory from anyone listening right now.
For sure.
Think about your own daily life. Think about your own specific wheel. When you are deep in a task, whether that is drafting a proposal, building a cabinet, or even just washing the dishes, do you feel that quiet, peripheral hum of satisfaction?
That little bit of peace.
Yeah. Do you find a sense of psychological safety in the structure of your routine? Or are you constantly fighting it? Are you spending your energy trying to figure out how to escape the wheel, despite the poem's very clear warning that the escape might be exactly what destroys you?
It completely reframes how you might view a Monday morning alarm clock.
It really does.
It's a lot to process. But I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder, something that builds directly on the mechanics of Dempsey's text.
Okay.
If our wheel is indeed our salvation because it protects us from the paralyzing doom of seeking purpose, what happens when the wheel forcefully stops?
Ooh.
Think about sudden, unexpected unemployment, or even something we supposedly celebrate like retirement. If we have spent 40 years safe inside the rhythm of the wheel, letting the routine keep our existential dread at bay, does the sudden, unwanted loss of the cage force an enlightenment upon us that we simply aren't built to survive?
Wow. That is the ultimate real-world test of the poem's theory. I mean, rapid cognitive and physical decline we sometimes see in people immediately after they retire suggests Dempsey might be entirely correct.
It is something to seriously think about the next time you feel the urge to complain about the mundane realities of the daily grind. Maybe, just maybe, that grind is the only thing keeping you tethered to the earth.